This is Sean with Gate City Foundation Drainage. We're on a job today in Greensboro, and what we're working on today is we are doing some mold remediation, and we're in this crawl space here, and there was some water flowing through here, and there's some light surface mold on all these joists. And so talked to the homeowner and told them that we could spray everything. The insulation looked pretty good. It's coming down in a few places, you know, whatever. They said, they thought about it for a while. They said, okay, we want you to clean up this crawl space, pull down the insulation, do your mold treatment stuff, put up new insulation, and then put in a new vapor barrier. And so they're getting the works here, and this is going to be all taken care of. So I want to talk about some of the tools that we're going to be using today and some of the products that we're going to be using. So the first thing we're doing, I've got Caleb and Ronald here, and they're over there getting stuff set up. So the way I like to get started on a job like this, to get an extension cord plugged in, and then what we do is we basically start daisy chaining off these fans. We've got fans set up, and they're blowing out. You can blow out, you can blow in. I don't think it really matters. Keeping the fans inside keeps them out of the way. We also have a light that we plug in. We shine the light toward the wall so it just kind of lights up the whole place and doesn't have like a spotlight blinding effect to it. So Caleb's got a fan set up over there, and Ronald's and Caleb are working on a fan over there. And so the first thing we do in a crawl space here is we get it very well ventilated, and that's going to blow all of our dust out of here, make conditions much easier and more enjoyable to work in. So I'll be back with you shortly. We're working on a game plan here. Can you say all that again, Caleb?
I'll take the insulation first, because you can drop it on the plastic and just pull the plastic out and hold sheets with the insulation on it. It'd be makes it easier on the workload. Okay,
so you're saying we're taking all the plastic out anyway, just drop the insulation and then slide the plastic out. Okay. Is that what you guys want to do?
I think he's already on it.
All right, sounds like a plan. Okay, thanks. All right, Caleb's starting back in the back there. Ronald's starting back in the back over here. And I'm going to start taking some of this trash out of here. We got a tire. Don't ask me how a tire ends up in a crawl space, but I'm gonna start getting some of this out of here while the guys are working, and then if they need anything, I'll be right here to support them. So we've got to just look at how clear it is. Look at how clear this air is in here because of those fans. Those fans are critical. Even though it takes a little while to set them up, it's still so worth it, because it's just clean and clear in here. When you're working with all this insulation and dust and everything else, it makes it really quite enjoyable in here, if you could say that. We've got a couple wheelbarrows ready to go, but I wanted to show you this. Check out this water heater installation. So for their pop-off drain, they just put a couple of self-tappers into the water heater and called it a day. So that is absolutely awful. But anyway, I'm back here at the truck. I wanted to show you some of the products we're going to be using. The mold remediator is this RM-86, and this is like a bleach based mold remover. It works really well, and you can buy it in the 1 gallon here, or I often buy it in 2.5 gallon jug. When you're spraying this stuff, you have to use an actual respirator, and so these are mold lead sprays from coatings, seals, adhesives, workspace applications. And so when you use one of these respirators, you can't smell the bleach. If you don't use a respirator, if you use a dust mask, you're going to smell the bleach, and it's going to be overpowering. So you've got to spend the money, get a respirator. It's got reusable cartridges. What we do is we write our names on these so we keep up with them. We're going to also, to spray this, we use a little pump. What do you call this? A pump sprayer here. And these are the smaller ones. So you can get a bigger, like a 2 gallon. This is a 1 gallon. And I think it's whatever you want to do. If you want to drag around a bigger one, it's okay. But then it takes more pumps to get it pressurized. So we like these smaller ones. I go through a lot of these, spraying different things. And I'll put links in the description to all these products that you can get. I also I like these style knee pads. And so gel stabilizer knee pad. These are good for crawl spaces and keeping your knees healthy and safe. So I'll put a link for one of these. So I've got probably 20 pairs of these floating around, and we just grab them and go. We also use a Tyvek suit. These the guys either like them or don't like them. They call them sweatsuits. So it's basically just a suit that you get into to help keep yourself clean and keep the bleach off of you. The problem is these can be kind of uncomfortable and make you really, really hot during the working conditions. So whether they want them or not, they're here available. So I'll put links to all these different things that we're using today in the description below. I've got 2 wheelbarrows here I'm going to be using to make runs back up to the dump truck, and I'm going to start cleaning some of this stuff up while the guys are working on the insulation. So I'm going to set you up right here. A job like this is not too difficult. What is difficult is laying and being in a contorted position. And so my goal here, as kind of like the support to the guys who are tearing it out, is to try to keep up with them and to make sure that I'm clearing out what they're pulling down. That's going to help with their morale. It makes it seem like it goes a lot faster because they're pulling stuff down and creating huge piles all around them, and I'm trying to get those out of there and out of the crawl space. It helps with the airflow. And one of the harder parts is just going back and forth. It's not so bad to crawl back in there and then lay there and do the work. What is kind of annoying is to crawl back and forth. And so since this crawl space is so high here toward the entranceway, I'm trying to be the one that's crawling back and forth and trying to keep everything cleared out for the guys and just really keep things moving. Every once in a while they'll want to come out and take a breather or whatever, but for the most part, once you crawl back in there, you just kind of want to stay in there and get it done and not crawl back and forth a million times.
Try to get this out of your way. Yeah, got that in. Yeah.
All right. So there's that for you.
Is there a way to tighten this up? Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Do you need any safety glasses?
Probably.
There you go. Okay, we're making pretty good progress here, and I've been loading up the dump truck, making runs with the wheelbarrows, and the guys have got everything cleaned out, and Caleb's back in the back already spraying some mold remover. How's it going, Caleb?
I have to go next morning or on that side of the pipe. This is done.
Okay, we're waiting for the mold treatment to do its thing. So you can already see a lot of that mold is disappearing. And it smells pretty strong in here, like bleach. You can't smell it when you've got your respirator on, but boy, when you don't have it on, you can really smell it under here. So we're letting it blow out a little bit, and then I guess we're going to get in here and do some vapor barrier, and then we'll be back tomorrow to start insulating. As air quality goes?
Yeah, it's alright.
Now you did 13 feet to the far side.
I was 11 feet.
To the far side?
I added 2 foot, yeah.
Okay, here you go. So we're going to do a strip across here and not mess with the pillars. Yeah.
Going over this or under?
Oh, hey, so that's the
Over.
only issue right there.
Say it again.
Cable for that.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna unplug it when you pull it to it.
Yeah.
Actually, never mind, we'll be going far enough.
We are getting the vapor barrier started in here, and we stopped for lunch and killed some time here and let the bleach smell air out a little bit, but those fans do a really great job of that too. And so Ronald and Caleb are getting this vapor barrier going. We just use a basic 6 mil frosted clear from Lowe's for a vapor barrier, and it works really, really well. I also wanted to point out that work light right there, look at how I position it shining up against the pillar. And so what that does when you shine them up against a pillar or a wall, it's indirect light, and it just brightens the whole area up without giving you that like spotlight, floodlight look that blinds you. So that's a really good way to light up a crawl space, is to aim your light at some structure. Things are going pretty well today so far, so I'm gonna head on back to the shop with this load. I've got tires here, so I got to pull those off. They go to a different place, but all this can go to the construction, the C&D landfill. And then I'm going to bring the insulation back, and they're going to finish up with the vapor barrier, and then I guess I'll start running rolls of insulation under there. So we're going to try to get the insulation in under the crawl space today.
Good?
Yep. Them floors actually look pretty good.
Sure.
The floors, I just laid down and kind of looked at them. They look pretty good.
Yeah.
They're the slats.
Come to you. Coming at you.
All right.
Move that way.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. I'm on it. My bad.
Maybe about a foot.
I just got back over here with our load of insulation, and as much as I'd like to back it all the way in there, I don't want to make a bunch of ruts that we have to clean up later, or possibly get this thing stuck or get it covered in mud. So I guess I'll be barrowing like a sucker all this insulation. Okay, I just got all these rolls of insulation under here, and the guys are finishing up with the last piece of vapor barrier there, and it looks like they've also turned the fans from blowing out to blowing around in here. So once you get all the dust blown out of here and you stop making dust, then you can just do whatever you want to with the fans, get them blowing wherever you're working, whatever. Look at these joists, are looking really good. So, yeah. Well, let me tell you what happened today. So I sent the guys over here to take care of this for me, and I was off setting up some concrete. They took care of everything. They got all the insulation up. Everything looks really, really good. It smells really good under here. Look at these joists. Look at how clean they come with that mold treatment, and I'll put a link to that up here. So I also wanted to show you too, see how we have condensation underneath this vapor barrier? What that means is that the vapor barrier is doing its job. It's keeping the condensation, keeping the moisture on the ground side of it. And you don't need a super fancy vapor barrier. Just a layer of 6mm plastic is usually what we use for just a basic vapor barrier. Works really well. Keeps it fairly clean in here. I may come back over here with a leaf blower and try to blow some of these little pieces out of here, but the homeowner said they're not too worried about it. So Yeah. Got a little bit better light here to see these joists. See how good they look with that mold treatment. So yeah, this job is all done. We did a drainage system here prior to this, which is how I got introduced to these homeowners. And it's been so hectic around here I didn't film it, but I did get this picture of Ronald. So take a look at that. We do a fair number of these crawl space cleanouts and mold remediation. And one of the things I did want to mention to you all, my customers often report back that the indoor air quality inside the house is much improved once we go in and do that. And what goes on there is that mold is basically dry and it's like a powder, and that is the dormant stage of the mold. If it ever gets wet again, it kind of like reactivates. And so it's not a pressing issue, and I tell people, but if they're interested in getting that crawl space cleared out, you can't go wrong. And I often before would kind of like undersell it a little bit, but people have had such good results with their indoor air quality. I've been trying to sell it more and say, you know, we can do this, we can spray it, and I have other customers telling me that their indoor air quality improves. And so these homeowners, basically they wanted me to spray it, not mess with the insulation. I mentioned we could take out all that debris. They said don't worry about it. Gave them a price, they were good with that, and then I texted them a couple weeks later and asked if we could go ahead and get started. And I guess they had thought about it, and they said, no, we want you to take everything out, take all the debris out, pull the insulation down, and do the works. And so that's what we ended up doing. And I've definitely got to hand it to Ronald, Caleb, and then Jeremy and Ronald on the day, because I was off doing some other stuff and they were really doing all the work on that one. So definitely have to hand it to those guys for their hard work on this one. Alright, let me know what you think of this video, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have or found any usefulness to it, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. And you can also support the channel. You can become a member. You can give me a super thanks. There's also links in the description. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.